Happy Friday, beautiful people. TGIF. Welcome to the Miss Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best, and we are here to go over Married at First Sight. This is season 20. We're going to go over all of the episodes 13 to 15. So if you haven't watched yet, you probably shouldn't be on YouTube, but I'm going to let you know anyway that there are spoilers. But welcome to everybody who is here. We also have James helping us from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. Welcome in, James.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having me. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Please do. The link to James's channel is in the description of this video. There's multiple ways that you can find him, but be sure to tap in. There are also other great creators. I do always do a Black creator spotlight. I like to support African-American people because we should. But there are lots of great Black creators in the description who also cover this show, such as Shayna_MCD, Miss Kira Speaks. Tap in, tap in. And a big thank you in advance to all of the people who help moderate on this channel. I appreciate you guys. You've all been extremely helpful. So I'm just going to be shouting y'all out going forward because why not, y'all? But AV is already here. I see that you are here, AV. I appreciate you for dropping all these comments. Do what AV says. Hype the video, like the video, all of those good things. Not the Cash App out there. How'd you find that? Wow. But that is my Cash App and Venmo. I'm over here
Okay, find mine and put it up there.
I'm like, oh, my word. What's poppin', Shayna? I hope you are doing well. When is your Married at First Sight review?
I know, I need to watch it. I was watching the other one, Shayna. It was really good.
I need to snatch her and Miss Kira just for like one of these reviews. One of them. So I love them both. Y'all tap into their channels. I'm so glad it's Friday. I'm very glad it's Friday.
Okay, I had a time at work today. I was ready to throw in the towel. Like, seriously, y'all. Whew.
He said, I'm over it. I'm tired. I'm old. I'm Black. I'm bewildered. I got too many things. Like, okay, I'm tired.
Overworked and underpaid.
Yeah, that's that's America. Overworked, underpaid, and then working too many days. A lot happened in these episodes. I am going to actually go over Courtney and Nick first for obvious reasons for those who watch the episode. Courtney and Nick, she is still saying that she feels like he's not being the real him. And I'm sick of it. I think we're all kind of over Courtney. Obviously, you don't like Nick. I think she was done with him the moment that she learned he did so many shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people are like, wait, maybe he's not opening up and things like that. But it just seemed like she was done when he mentioned he did so many shows. She seemed very concerned about that. She never addressed it in an honest way. And then it looks like she found other reasons to be almost repulsed by this man. She acted as if him touching her, I just can't wait to get away from him. It's like, and she said it more than once. So I'm just kind of over it. Nick responds well and tells Courtney that there are some validity to the things she's saying. And he mentions that he could open up more, but there's a lot of factors. He doesn't know when it's safe to do so. When he does, she tells him it's disingenuous. If you tell somebody that what they're doing is not working, or you beat them down when they try to do something, they're probably not going to be as comfortable being themselves around you. Your reaction that we give to others, even though we can't always control it, it absolutely determines how comfortable people feel approaching you with things. Now, in the real world, when you're just dealing with people, it's like, oh, well, who cares? But when you got to live with them and sleep with them and build a marriage, like, it does actually matter. But she asks Nick what he needs again, because they just did this last week, what he needs to get better or for things to go better. And, he pretty much lets her know, like, I just need to know it's safe, to flirt with you, to have a good time, things of that nature. He also explains that he feels like he's been trying to do the work, but that it's not safe for him to make a mistake, which is true. As we just stated, she jumps down his throat for every little thing. But when he says this, for some reason, it upset her. And I was kind of like, wait, you're doing exactly what he just told you that you do, but you're arguing him about it. I just don't understand what the hell Courtney wants. Uh, in the group therapy, she says she wants Nick to be his full self. She's saying the same stuff. She's not going to stop. And she essentially continued to tear him down. And Nick said in therapy that he feels like he's making an effort and Courtney does not acknowledge the efforts that he makes. He also acknowledged that she does do some things, but he's not acknowledging effort fairly. And Paul asks them if they feel they have a strong romantic connection. Nick says they're compatible as friends. I was like, okay. Once he said that, I was like, that's hard to come back from. I think it's weird when you start talking about friendship, but they end up basically breaking up because he's not clear on what the hell she wants. Honestly, she's not clear on what the hell she wants. I think she just knows that she does not want him, if I'm being entirely honest. Like, Courtney has a lot of work to do, but I do think there was no like baseline attraction that she had for Nick. You can see that someone's an attractive person and not be attracted to them yourself, if that makes sense. I feel like that might have been the case with those two. Paul asked if they wanted to end the marriage, and she says they're missing a spark, and she chose to end it. I could tell Nick didn't even want to do that because he didn't want to deal with the crash out. It was smart of him to let her do it, but they ended up leaving because there's no reason for them to stay. But in my opinion, may we never see Courtney across anyone's television show again. And if she is out there dating people and she's doing what she did to Nick, she's dangerous. So gentlemen, be careful. That's all I have to say. How did you feel about their segment?
I feel like to me, and I said this from day one, she realistically never gave him a chance to be what she quote unquote says is his authentic self. She never created a safe space. She never created a moment to where if there was any inclination that he was showing it, it was ever acknowledged. So I feel like for me, this was the only sensible thing for them both to do is to end this relationship and end this marriage. And I feel like I was actually surprised they came to this decision. I really was, because I really felt like how much more of a beating can he actually take from her? Because every time she addressed him, it was so aggressive. And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am, like, come on. Like, you have to give him some slack too. Like, he's trying. I mean, I don't know how hard he was trying, but at the same time, I did see him at least try, and then she would shut him down. Or was it good enough? Or was this? So I was happy they left. I was happy they left the show. I was happy that they decided to call it quits because they needed to. How much more of a, you know, direct, word beating he can take from her? Like, how much more can he take? Like, that's crazy.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. You can't put people through so much so soon. Like, and that's kind of the little flaw in this experiment because you're married at first sight, but you can't really act like you're married at first sight. Because realistically, if you're married to someone and you're aggressive and doing what Courtney's doing, you may be able to overcome it. But when you don't know someone and you're getting to know them, or in my opinion, if stuff like this is happening and you under 3 years, just run.
Yeah.
Just run. It's too soon for all of that.
It's not only is it too soon, but it's unnecessary.
That's the truth.
It's unnecessary. Like y'all, I'm being serious. Her like approach to him in all avenues of this show and all those episodes, I would say 70% of it was unnecessary.
Just because
30%
you're
of it was.
frustrated doesn't mean you need to go off on people and show your frustrations all the time. So Courtney has to grow the hell up
She do.
a lot. American Board said, bye, Felicia. Listen, au revoir. She can go. I will not miss her on the show. And honestly, with her gone, I had less of a headache. And I'm not going to lie, the other 2 episodes did feel more enjoyable to me.
Same here.
It's too much with her. On the other hand, Nick wasn't trying either, in my opinion. Nick wasn't, but I think he tapped out because he was trying like hell in the beginning. But
Mhm.
if you touch someone and they're talking for weeks about how they just wanted to escape your touch, you don't seem real. Like, she tore him down in every single way that you can. I think
Yes.
sometimes people mean well with the feedback they're giving because I don't think Courtney meant to be mean. but some people just are not good at giving feedback, and Courtney gets that.
Yeah, I don't think what she was doing was helpful either. And I think that, if he wasn't trying, it's like Mrs. Best said, he tapped out, and I would have too, because I can't keep getting like run down by you every time I do something that you don't like, or I'm doing something that you're not used to. You can't just keep beating me down like I'm, a battered child. That's not how that works. Like, you have to give grace. You have to give mercy. You have to understand this man does not know you. So
That's
it's
true.
like, you can't just be so, and I get she's direct. I get that. But at the same time, it didn't help her situation. It didn't help her marriage. And I feel like a lot of the demise of this marriage was her fault. I'm sorry, it was.
It was all her fault.
Yeah.
It literally was. If Nick had never tried, I'd feel like, okay, maybe he's the problem. But when you talk to people a certain way or treat people a certain way, there's only so much people, in my opinion, should have to even deal with. So farewell to them. We'll probably see him on like 10 more reality shows. And,
Yep.
I don't really care to see her, but what is my phone doing? Okay, there we go. Lord, my my screen went black. I don't know what that was about. Maybe someone's in my phone. We're going to move on to Adam and Marissa. I saw a post before coming on this live that was speaking about the zodiac signs of every person on the show. And Adam is a Capricorn. Listen, I love Capricorns, but they are very high energy people who struggle to go deep, and they can be extremely self-centered. So I felt like his zodiac sign definitely aligned with him. And Felipe's a Pisces, a big old crybaby. I'm not surprised. Hi, Rose City. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Welcome to everyone else that is watching as well. I appreciate y'all for being here. Hope you enjoyed these episodes. Now, Adam comes home, but before he comes home, Marissa is there and she's with her friends. They're chatting and she's explaining how stressful things have been for her because every single thing with Adam feels like it's a competition. He's extremely competitive. He likes these high energy activities and it's tiring. So she explained that they went to play pickleball and the vibes were off. And honestly, the way that people on the show make fun of this man for using the term vibes so often is funny. Even in her conversation with her friends, she was doing it. But she also expressed to her friends, and this is the part I thought was more important, that she felt like in therapy, he's very short. She essentially said, long story short, she feels like Adam be bullshitting the therapist, which I agree. We talked about this last week. I think it's strange to say before therapy, I'm going prepared. The only way you should prepare for therapy, in my opinion, is if you clearing your schedule like I do after therapy, because it could be heavy and you don't want to be in people's faces or doing things and whatnot. Now, Adam comes in the middle of them talking about him, and they ended up discussing the issues with the friends like on a lighter level, but they didn't get too deep. He did explain, and I do believe him when he says that he's trying to give the experiment his all, but it's like he's willing to give in a little bit for Marissa, but she has to 150% be all in with him, what he likes, his activities. But what can we do? What can we do? I did agree with Caitlin when she was talking to Marissa about some things, just about the fact that him wanting a wife that is willing, he's asking for someone to play these activities and do this stuff all the time versus Mr. Best, right? My husband has a thing for enjoying pow pow and going to the range and pow powing. I don't really care for stuff like that, but I might do it once or twice just to be up around him. People don't have to do everything that's important to you with you, even if you're in a relationship. Like, you're still two different people. Pickleball may just be Adam's thing. Why does it have to be Adam and Marissa's thing? So that's the part that is becoming problematic. But things do not get better with these two. She admits that she doesn't know if she can live an intense life. And I think it's good that Marissa's finally admitting this. My only concern, I don't know if James feels the same, is I feel like she's doing this way too late. Like, you should have been spoke up for yourself. I don't know if you feel the same, but for me, I feel like she talks too late.
I've already said this, and I'm gonna say this until I'm blue in the face. I feel like for her, the issue is that she does not want to step on his toes, and the problem is because she feels like if she steps on his toes, he's going to discard her. So she's going along to get along and to do the things that he likes, so that he won't just throw her away. Because Adam gives that he'll throw you away the moment you don't agree with him or that you don't like the things that he likes. And I think that she's going along with this because she does not want to be the one or be the reason of why this marriage doesn't work. And I hate that she's like that, because to me, regardless of what he likes, if you don't like the same things, that's your cue to be honest with him and tell him, I don't like these things. I like to do this, and I don't feel like I should have to conform. Now, I get seeing his interests and seeing what he likes, absolutely fine. I can understand that. But you don't have to continue and perpetuate that you like the same things in order to make him happy. No relationship in that kind of stratosphere will ever last, because you're not being 100% honest. Now, on Adam's part, I feel like the fact that someone you're dating has to have your same likes and interests, to me, I feel like you're not dating the kind of women that you like then, which is really crazy to me. If you need someone to like these same things, either because not a lot of women, there's some women who are athletic and like them and like doing these things. There are some women like that. He's just probably not attracted to them. So I usually tell men like this: hey, either you go against your attraction and get the woman that has the common likes that you have, or go get you a man. It's going to be one of the two. And y'all know how I feel about sexuality. I'm completely different. I feel like if you have common grounds with somebody and can really, embark on, having similarities, you might need to be with that person. You just might need to be with them. And maybe it can formulate into something romantic later. I don't know. But I just feel like, to me, forcing someone to like something that you like and it has to be a deal breaker, that is crazy.
Yeah. It's also self-centered. I don't know who relationship is two people, so it can't just be all about one. And the
Right.
problem with Adam is all about Adam, classic narcissist. And of course he's going to deny it and act like we don't see it. I'm not saying Adam's a bad person. I'm saying he's a self-centered ass person. But
Mhm.
they did a little hot tub date. I did just personal thing. I do not. Okay, they have those here in the Bay Area. I don't get the idea of getting into a boat, going out onto an open body of water, and then sitting in water while on that open body
That was manipulation.
of water. No, those hot tub dates.
No, that date was manipulation.
I know, but I'm not speaking about the date right now. I'm just speaking about the boat. Like, I just think the concept of the boat as a whole is stupid, is what I'm saying. We are going to get into the date, though. They do the hot tub date. I do agree with James. It does look like manipulation, partially because she's been saying she doesn't want to do activities that are high stress activity, but all he did was compromise and find a way he could still be outside, play in the water, but give her her moment. I mean, there wasn't even space on the boat to really. I know that charcuterie crackers was soggy as hell, but their date was okay. Um, she did explain that the way that he is and being so into activities can be somewhat of a turnoff, and she would like it if they could meet more in the middle. We're going to come back to them later because I'm going to go over the group dinners later. But before we move on, is there anything you wanted to add?
Um, because on the date she brings up meeting his sister. So it didn't really dawn on me that she has not met his family yet.
They said that. We talked about that in earlier reviews
I
because
might have
his
been I
parents.
might have been missing.
No, you were there. You just forgot. But yeah, they said that in the first episode. His parents were
But no,
traveling
we in
to wherever.
episode 13 to 15. You mean tell me that family back from that cruise yet?
The experiment is only like a couple months. I don't even think it outsees like 60 days. My sister just came back from the same part of the world they went to. She was gone for a long time. Listen, the further that flight is, the longer you stay. But regardless of what, I think it's weird that he participated and had a whole wedding without his parents there. I think that says that he doesn't care if they're there or not because he doesn't know if the girl he married will still be there or not to even introduce them. But we'll see. We'll see. At this point, I think we should just wait till we see the sister because Adam's about Adam, and I think he's hiding parts of his life until he knows if he
Because as soon
really
as she
wants to
mentioned
be
sister,
with
he
her.
jumped his ass in the water.
He came back up, but he sure did.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was supposed to do that because she
No,
was looking around concerned.
no, he wasn't. He didn't know. I feel like he knew he was gonna do that, but that was the way to get her to stop talking about it. I saw that, Adam. We ain't slick. Yeah, that was the way to get her off that topic real quick. You jumped your ass in that water, and then was like, "Oh, I didn't. I missed my step. I bet you did."
I feel like his family's not on board with this like process. I feel like they may not know, but let me get into the comments. Rose City said Courtney needs someone more aggressive.
No, she doesn't.
Courtney needs to figure out Courtney before she dates
Yes,
anybody. Before she dates anybody.
yes. Courtney does not need nobody more aggressive. Courtney needs somebody after she gets the help that she needs to be calm spirited like Nick was. The problem is that he needs to have sternness with him too, where she can't just run over him like she did Nick.
Yeah, I would say that's probably the aggressiveness they were talking about that she needs. Adam is ridiculous, and I see why all the women on Reddit said he is a red flag.
I
Everyone can
read
see it.
I read it.
Nobody wants to date anyone where things have to just go that way, like one person's way. I don't care if that one person is the one making all the money for those who may be housewives and things like that. Like, regardless of what, it should be about the both of you, not just one of you. And that's in any relationship, not just marriage. And not you growling at Adam, Lord. Adam needs a pickleball paddle upside his head. AP, please. And stop bringing up the girlfriend that was on your level. Oh, we're going to get into that. He irked my soul at that group dinner. He really irked my soul. And I agree with this. Marissa definitely should have spoke up sooner. Closed mouth don't get fed. Now it's too late. And you dealing with what you're dealing with. And I can't even fully fault Adam because how's he supposed to know anything was wrong when you just been going along to get along?
Right.
There's also that. So I can't fully attack Adam. Listen, I enjoy steak as well, but I'm going to use a knife and a fork.
He chews like Mr. Ed. It's very distracting and it's very unflattering.
Not Mr. Ed.
Yeah.
Not Mr. Ed. I don't like his adult stash. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. He tricked her, and I wouldn't have done that push up. And did you see his dress socks he had on? He's trying to make these socks a thing, and I don't think they ever have been a thing. I think that's a very strange thing to do. I don't know if you guys know there's something called water shoes. I use them when I go to beaches and oceans, hikes, and I'm jumping into waterfalls. Y'all know I like to travel with Mr. Best. There's a such thing as water shoes, okay? You don't slip. He's doing this sock shit for attention because he's narcissistic, and when the spotlight's off of him, you could tell he's just trying to figure out how to get it back on him.
I believe Courtney. I believe he has foot fungus too.
And is
Oh,
trying to
oh
hide it
yeah,
by
I'm
making
trying.
the.
I believe Courtney now. I do. Every time I see him with socks in the water, I'm like, oh yeah, I believe Courtney. I do.
He might be. That's something a lot of men will do, just embarrassed.
Hmm.
But it's like, take care of it then. Don't just
Okay.
run to the doctor because he's supposed to have all this money. But maybe he take care of his feet like he take care of his lake property. Broken disco balls just hanging. I'll believe it when she meets the sister. Exactly. Exactly. Adam's family knows he's a douche. I feel like they're definitely gonna warn her about him. And I don't think the
Hmm.
warning is gonna be nothing good. Who is next, y'all? We are gonna get into Cameron and Michelle. Listen, I think they're really cute and they're sweet, and I think their love is real. And I'm not invested because the rest of these couples are the hot mess express. So Cameron and Michelle kind of get lost in it. What I will say is I don't like how the other couple are kind of looking at Cameron and Michelle as if they are like the foundation and blueprint. Focus on the experts, but then I can understand why these couples may not trust the experts. But Cameron and Michelle are figuring stuff out just like the rest of them. And sometimes I feel like, especially Mecca, like values their opinion too much. But they're discussing concerns because I guess Cameron worries like if the passion will run out, which is fair. He's never had a relationship longer than 6 months. So obviously things run out relatively quick for him. But I mean, again, it's because he has minimal relationship experience versus him just being a red flag. He still has a job and the family and is self sufficient and seems like a nice guy. Sometimes it just takes some people longer to find their person. Like, I have some friends like that who were single like all of their 20s single through half of their 30s, and now I have friends in their 40s who finally met their person. Like sometimes you got to kiss hella frogs. It's unfortunate, but rather that than moving in with every person you meet.
Right.
I think the bigger red flag would be just moving in, but nothing really happens with them. They starting to bore me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie at all. It seems like the issues they do have is just him being nervous, anxious. Maybe he struggles with depression also and be in his head because he had a moment where he was just having an off day. Um, Michelle is patient, a little too patient.
I
Okay, I
agree.
have sad days too. The way I would have been like, I hope you feel better. If you need something, call me, and went about my day. Okay, I'm not getting up and taking you and the dogs to go for a walk to engage in conversation to get your feelings out. You know, it's given he might be a little bit depressed. That was different in terms of how he acted, but I was glad she supported him. But they just concerned they're in the love bubble. They're concerned that they're not being tested in their relationship. They do see Michelle's aunt who explains because she's Vietnamese. It sounds like she was supposed to be arranged to be with somebody, but she ran away from home and got with her uncle. Um, I mean, it's a sweet story. I'm not quite sure how it relates to Cam and Michelle. Maybe she just wanted him to hear the story, but I'm not invested in these two as much anymore. How do you feel?
I also am not invested in these too much anymore either. And it's funny that you said that because I was feeling the exact same way. I feel like it's repetitive. I feel like, oh, everything is so cute. I like you. You're so cute. And, oh my God, look how wonderful this is. And our love is just so natural. And oh my God, I want, and I'm just like, and don't get me wrong, I love Michelle. She is so adorable. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, if I don't see no argument, no testing, no you put too much salt in the food, no, I need something from them. Like something that it can't just be all pleasantries. And I felt like when he had his breakdown on the couch and she came over, I felt like we were going to get that maybe some frustration of something. And we
She's too
did, but
passive.
she's too passive
She
because to
babies
me,
him.
yes, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what are you doing? Because I need clarification. Why do you feel this way? Do you feel like we need to get you some extra therapy, a month of therapy? Is it me? Is it you being 3 hours away from your actual home and you're in this home sharing it with me? Are you comfortable with that? I needed more context, and I felt like I did not get that, which is why I'm not invested. Because it's unnatural, you guys. It's unnatural for someone to tell you that you're depressed and you don't feel a certain way and then it not get addressed, especially when you're married to somebody. That is completely different. We need to know what's going on because anything can happen. So I feel like for me, to be honest with y'all, I didn't feel this way about them at first, but I'm going to say this now because I feel this way today. I feel like they're performing. Even though allegedly they're still together today, I still think on this show in this very moment, they're performative.
I agree. Something about the way that they are just feels disingenuous. Um, at the end of the day, no relationship is perfect. Part of marriage is things not going well. And personally, even though people could go through stuff, I would be annoyed if someone was constantly in their head and crying and going through all of this. What's going to happen when these experts and these cameras go away? He gets to feeling depressed and wondering if he deserves your love and all this stuff. And he flees. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. I hope that they're okay, but I do see a lot of Michelle giving in and doing the work and him just kind of coasting along, but then also falling in love with her because who wouldn't? Hell, I'd fall in love with her. So every time I was upset, somebody's coming and taking me on a walk and reassuring me, giving me hugs and kisses and God knows whatever else. Like, but that's unrealistic. If you just let people behave a certain way, they're going to keep doing that. And
Yep,
what if she goes through something and she needs support? Is he going to step
exactly.
up the way that she steps up for him? So I don't know. I'm tired of him. Shayna said, I personally don't believe in their love. It's just new for him. I don't think they're in love. I feel like the therapist, Shayna, the experts keep trying to force love on people. That's weird. Like professionally, let them come to terms with the maybe it's love I'm feeling. A therapist, the clinician, in my opinion, should never say and bring up such a strong word like that, unless you're like, of course, dealing with family or a couple that like has history, you know. But people who just met and they're like, oh, he's feeling love, and it's like, can y'all just let them be and stop saying, oh, we've got one success after all our other failures? The experts is just so focused on Cam and them, it's getting on my nerves. I do think Cameron has depression. I do too. I do too. Because people who struggle with it they're in their head too much. That's often, everyone thinks it's just like sadness and, you know, regressing from people and isolating and things like that. Depression shows in so many ways. And the way he overthinks, I feel like what they keep trying to put on Mecca, saying that he doesn't feel deserving of love, I feel like that might apply to Cameron.
Yes.
And they're so focused on mom trauma, this and that, but people can not feel deserving of love without having parental trauma. You know, some people are loved greatly by their parents and family, but don't feel like anyone else may love them that way. But he going through something. He seems like a nice guy, and I hope he figures it out, though.
Same.
AV said they do love to talk about other couples. Cam said they all been bullshit, and I can't wait to tell them. I said, oh, okay, big player. All right, you shot and you scored. That's why they will work. She is the yin to his yang. That could be a good thing, but that can also be a bad thing. I
Right,
just
because
want
that
to
could turn to
see,
codependency.
yeah, all I want to see is Michelle go through something and he show up for her in the same way. If I
Yes.
see that, I'd be okay, but we haven't really seen her go through anything. And the one thing she did go through with the fibroids and the difficulty she'll have with children, you know, they discussed that already, but I need to see him show up for her just a little bit more. But
I
I
think
like them.
she's too put together. I don't think they're equally yoked. So the problem is that because she's so like put together well and knows how to be, emotionally intelligent, I just think that they're never going to really bridge that gap. And especially if she keeps coddling him the way she does, like it's just never gonna happen.
That's the truth. And that's the perfect word for it, is coddling, because that's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
Y'all, we're going to get into Caitlyn and Devin. They went on a date. He mentioned at the last group dinner that he was not trying to attack her while on the date. He explained that, like, he was just expressing himself. I think that's ridiculous that every time he expresses himself, he has to explain why he said something. He
Agreed.
should be able to express himself without having to give an explanation of his self-expression. And Caitlyn does not see that. But I don't see any chemistry with this couple. I feel like Devin is really trying. I feel like they give great friend vibes. They give great friend vibes. Maybe friends that fool around sometimes and maintain a friendship afterward. But I just don't see these two in the light of a relationship, though they do seem closer, which comes out in the group therapy. And she actually said good things about him in the group therapy instead of tearing him down and saying that this is just how she is. Now, I learned that Caitlyn is a Gemini. That helped put a lot in perspective.
Yes.
I am a Gemini. It is very hard to get me to open up outside of like YouTube and stuff. It takes me a very long time with people. I need to know that you're not a psychopath. I need to see that you're not messy with other people, not messy with your family. Like, it just takes us a minute. Now, I'm a May Gemini, so I've been told we're a little milder. I don't know. Maybe Caitlyn's a June Gemini and all over the place, but she is behaving oddly with him, but now she's being kind. She admits that she realized that being overly independent is not always the most attractive quality to people when you're dating. And I'm like, that's a good observation. I think, unfortunately, for women, that's something we go through more often. The more independent a woman is, sometimes the harder it is for a woman to date. But she's learning, like, independence. You can still have your independence without, like, totally ignoring your partner, which I feel like is common sense. And I feel like she knew this already and is bullshitting, but whatever. She's saying it, better late than never. But Paul is like, I'm glad things are going well, but let's talk about the hard stuff. Devin, you said that you felt like you had to dim your own light in order to be with this woman. Do you still feel that way? And do you see a future together? He claimed he feel more relaxed, but he's not. Because if we look at Devin when we first got him, the first couple episodes before things went to hell on that honeymoon, he was more open and excited. He doesn't seem to have that anymore. But Caitlyn, you lucky because in real life, any female, man, trans, you would have been dumped. Ain't nobody dealing with this shit in real life. Why did you sign up for this? But even her dad admitted that she was difficult when they went to meet up with him. And I'm like, so, sir, you stood up at that wedding and did all of this, but you knew your child was the red flag. But how did you feel about their date, their group therapy?
Um, the problem the problem I have with this couple in particularly is that I'm seeing a man constantly basically doing what Marissa is doing, which is not saying what he feels. And the moment that he says what it feels, it gets shut down like Courtney does. Like it's amazing how how these people have never met each other, but they're all alike in certain ways. That is just crazy. I feel like to me, Caitlyn is dangerous, as I said. She's a danger to herself and to the people that she dates because to me, there's no way that your own dad is validating your craziness on a date with me. And I'm sitting there like, oh, yeah. And I'm just, no, that's my sign to get out. Because if your own parent who was acting a fool at our wedding is telling me you're crazy, oh, I'm going to believe him and I'm going to cross the street. I think that, yeah, I'm across the street. So to me, I feel like this is another couple that should have ended their marriage too, right when Courtney and Nick ended theirs.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to keep going along with this experience. I do see Devin still shrinking himself. And
Yep.
I feel like to me, I don't know why, like Marissa, you're allowing this to continue to happen and not saying anything at the beginning because you have to speak up. And y'all need to stop being in fear that you're going to hurt somebody's feelings because you're standing up for yourself. Like, I need Marissa and I need Devin to stop doing that. It does not matter. You matter in this marriage too. You have 50-50 interest too. You have to show up 100% of the time the same way they do. If their likes and needs and wants get acknowledged, yours should too. It's very simple. And if she can't do that, then you need to get the fuck out the marriage.
Yeah, he's definitely wasting his time. Him, Marissa, I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing. Maybe they're thinking it's a contract. I don't know, but they need to go on. Devin is with the wrong type of woman. Oh,
He
that's
is.
clear.
That's very
That's
clear.
clear.
That's clear on the first day one.
Caitlyn is another one. Yes, Caitlyn's just on my nerves. I really thought she and Devin would be the ones to break up, but we'll see. I don't see why she's on the show either. I don't see why, forget the show. I don't see why she's looking for a relationship if she values being alone so much.
Because her
There's a
friends have
such
to.
thing as living your life single.
No, her
People need
friends.
to start to get comfortable with that. Listen, I'm somebody that's married. I tell my friends all the time, I don't care if you're single. I don't care because if people care about you, it's going to be what it's going to be. People come and travel with me and my husband all the time. They be like, I didn't feel like a third wheel because if people care about you and want you around, we're not going to make you feel like a third wheel. Like you can live a great life single just because everyone around you is with people doesn't mean you have to be. And I feel like that's the only reason Caitlyn is doing this because it seems like all of her friends are in relationships. These couples is hanging on for a check. I guess I will be gone. I don't know. We shall
If I
see.
had somebody like not Devin, if I had somebody like Courtney and Marissa and Adam and all them, like, yeah, I would be gone too.
I think these are all couples too, like individually. It seems like all of these people are doing okay financially, so they can walk away. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just walking back to the same life they had 60 days prior.
They still got their own places. They still got their own homes. Like y'all can just
Right.
go home. Like what the hell?
Go
Like
home.
go home. That's all you got to do.
Unless you Cameron. That's probably why he's distraught. He's like, my lease is up. I like her. Oh. In his case, he trying to figure it out. Belle Jolie and Mecca, aka the people who are on my nerves and do too much with their outfits. They are discussing childhood concerns again. And at this point, I want them both to get therapy. This is my concern that me and James expressed concern about Mecca and Belle Jolie being placed together because yes, a trauma bond can work sometimes. However, most of the time they do not work unless unless people are doing the work on themselves or have done the work on themselves, which then it's
Yes.
not a trauma bond. It's just a person with trauma seeking a relationship. There is a difference. I don't understand what the experts were doing. I think this is one of the worst matches. I had hope for Mecca and Beljoli, but I don't think he's gay. I do think this man is bisexual. That's my personal opinion. See disclaimer in the description and going across the ticker, but that's just my opinion. Nothing's wrong with it, but something's wrong with it if you're not honest with who you're dating. And I feel like he's not being honest. I can understand why he's not being honest based on some of the stuff he's explained and how his daddy is, but he just keeps saying and doing things that are a concern. Beljoli, now I didn't grow up near snow. I grew up in Oakland, California, but why the hell were you pouring milk into snow? I didn't understand that. That was funny, but you know, it is what it is. Now he mentions his childhood and how he felt jealous of his siblings. And part of the reason he felt jealous of his siblings is because they had both parents. They had his dad, they had his stepmom. He didn't have both parents, and he started to realize this. Now, Mecca is all over the place when he explains stuff, and his scattered way of explaining things tells me that he is still very much so impacted by his trauma in childhood. Uh, like if he was my client, I would immediately be getting him like behavioral health support and referrals. He needs to talk to somebody. I think he needs to talk to someone fast because he said there's a missing mother. His other siblings, he had to watch them get both parents. His dad was extra hard on him because he was just his dad's child. He didn't have to share decision making with anybody. And he used to get whooped so bad for making mistakes that he would pee on himself when he would get whooped. That's not normal. I don't care what nobody fucking says. That is not normal. I got my ass whooped too as a kid. Never, you know, peed on myself. And I did unfortunately deal with child abuse. There were some CPS reports, unfortunately, during my childhood regarding me and my siblings. When stuff got out of hand like that, CPS did step in during my childhood. So that is not normal. It's one thing to whoop the kid's ass. And then it's another thing where before the whooping comes, they pee because they just are like, whatever, I'm going to relieve it. And then he says he peed in the bed until he was 13 years old, which is also a sign of trauma, multiple forms of trauma. I really felt for Mecca. It sounds like he had a horrible childhood, if I'm being entirely honest. And it makes his dad being funny at that wedding a whole lot less fucking funny. The way I want to square up with that man, okay? Because the stuff that he says is, it's sad, it's depressing, and he gets no way to heal from it because he's forced in that same environment working with the family. And I notice he shuts down when he explains his childhood. Now, Beljoli expressed some of her childhood as well. And this is why I don't think a trauma bond is good, because if you're bonded over nothing but trauma, your response when someone tells you about their trauma is going to be what Belle's response was, which was match that by telling you about her trauma. And she dealt with some things also. She said her mother was so poor, they had no lights. Sometimes her mother didn't eat. You know, unfortunately, a lot of kids grow up like that. A lot in America. Unfortunately, that is more common. But she came out okay. Now, if they didn't have a trauma bond, the point I'm trying to make is instead of going straight into, well, you went that and I did this, I went through that, she would have been like, you know, I'm sorry you went through that. Maybe change the subject to something lighter or took the time to like support him. They both respond to each other's deep stuff with more deep stuff. And it almost looks like a ping pong back and forth of trauma. And I know that they're not meaning any harm by doing it because it's just their experience, but they're still so raw in their trauma, especially Mecca, that I just don't think they can effectively like communicate or get deeper. But ciao. He does a nice gesture for her birthday, which came off beautiful because he did learn through her explaining her trauma. He's like, oh, so this is why birthdays are important. So he went all out. I thought that was kind, but yeah, I don't know. I will get to the rest of them because I am saving the group dinner for the end of just going through each couple. But how did you feel about all of that.
Like we've been saying, and I agree with you when you said that this is not, I don't think this is the most healthiest thing to do, pairing them up because of you feeling that their trauma bonds would probably grow with them. I don't think that that is the case at all because their traumas are completely different. We're having someone who did not experience neglect from a parent, aside from her dad that she really did not know. And growing up poor, where you have the opposite, where he grew up probably a little bit better than middle class, having the sanitation biz, his family business, and just having an out of control parent who, probably when he got frustrated, thought that the best thing he could do was, abuse, his son allegedly, according to, what Mecca was saying. Because anytime you have to, pee on yourself to make sure that it whoop you is crazy. So I just feel like I think that there's a lot more than just a trauma bond here. I think this is completely two different things, and they definitely missed it. And this could be really dangerous. Like in hindsight, like if they're not getting properly treated and if they're not really addressing these issues that they're displaying, this could be very, very dangerous. I can see this backfiring in a completely different way than it needs to. I hope that it doesn't, and I hope that one, I am wrong because I would hate to see this as beautiful as both of those two individuals are. But I could see this backfiring into something completely crazy. You're on mute.
But it's okay to deal with people who have trauma. Just make sure they've worked through it.
Yes.
That's why you don't want to rush into marriage, honestly. She
Right.
has that Whitney draw like Amanda from Summer House. Yep. Why hasn't Mecca gotten his hair done and he loves to embarrass her at the group dinners? He makes me so mad. Listen, probably because Belle ain't doing it. Belle Jolie grew up really poor. That was sad. I mean, unfortunately, that's common. That's extremely common. Like
Yep.
in today's time, you ask any social worker, case manager, most of what we do, if we're not getting people housing, is finding food, like getting people clothes. Before I came on live, that's what I was doing for two different families. Like, I know some people have the attitude of why have kids if you can't afford them and things like that, but I don't think anyone expects for life to get as expensive as it gets. But it's unfortunate a lot of kids go through that. That's why we should vote. Pay attention to what you vote for. Yeah, Mecca's dad is a big problem. Notice
Yes.
we ain't seen him once. Milk in the snow into snow comment. That was weird. I was like, you put cups outside, the snow would fall through our dirty atmosphere and God knows what into your cup, and then you pour some milk in it. Okay, Belle. I'm sure your immune system's strong, girl. It's strong, real good and strong. We're gonna get into Felipe and Tori, y'all. She's tired of him wanting a single life and is talking to her sister about it. And she said, and I quote, "I don't got time for no build a boy or none of this wishy-washy stuff. Clock in, Tori, okay? We don't want to build men. Come to us already built. Women need to stop taking on these Negroes as projects. They are not projects. Cuss out his mama and dump him and move on to the next, okay? Because it's her fault. It's her fault. It is. That's my advice. Lord, my husband's laughing at me like, oh, Lord, don't actually cuss out nobody, mama, y'all, because then they probably gonna find me. I don't have time. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not mad at you, Tori. I think we all feel Tori at what she said. Now, she tells us that Felipe sleeps in late. He wakes up at 10 or 11. He goes to work or the gym, or he goes to work in the gym. So it sounds like he wakes up hella late, goes to the gym, goes to work. By the time he's home from work, she sleeps. She's up at 6 a.m. in meetings, she said. And she is getting annoyed that he cannot do anything on his own. And she points out something that I've noticed from the beginning. His job comes from his parents because it's a family business. The job he had that wasn't at the restaurant his parents owned, his dad got that job for him. Everything he has in his life, mommy or daddy did for him. He's a mama's boy. He's a mama's boy. Nobody has challenged him. Everything he's had has been handed to him. Felipe don't know what it's like to be on Indeed, Glassdoor, or whatever job board website you use. He don't know what it's like to be on there updating your resume, applying for hundreds of jobs, hoping that one or two calls you back. He has no clue because mommy and daddy gave it to him. So I think her connecting the fact that things are handed to him to marriage, which you have to actively work toward and be intentional in, I think she's connected the dots and the disconnect
Yeah.
as something beyond him just not having discipline as a grown ass man. Because you want to sleep with hella women, that means you lack discipline. People who cheat, people who sleep with a different person all the time, that's a lack of discipline. I don't care if
Yep.
you're a woman or a man, especially when we have sex toys, y'all. Just saying, just saying. But she's pretty much fed up. It feels like she can't trust him. Looks like his mom sent a cat over and he's not helping with that. She doesn't trust this man to walk her dog. So she is paying for a dog sitter and a dog walker, even though she has a husband who's at home and can help, which is absolutely insane. So she does talk to him about needing more help and explains that he doesn't really show interest in her wants or needs. And, you know, he doesn't make an effort to dig deeper and making all of these, you know, demands. He's so concerned with himself. He's not really concerned with Tori. But when she tells him, he's like, I can walk the dog. Yeah, I'll just walk the dog and go right back to sleep. That's giving the I just want this bitch to shut up response. Like, if that was the case, why weren't you doing that before? Like, you can't just say something, Felipe, to get out of this. And I think that's what he's used to doing, but you live with her. But she tells him his indecisiveness is a problem and makes her less attracted to him. And she doesn't know if he wants to be married. So they meet with Paul. And I can never remember the other lady's name. But they meet with Paul, and Paul calls out Felipe because he says that he misses having sex with other people. He says that it is normal for people to miss things like that. And Paul explained this is not normal. And Felipe tried to fight it. And I can't understand why you would think that craving sex with random people is normal. I don't think any of us think that's normal. But Felipe is told by Paul to stop half-assing things and giving good answers. And Felipe says to Paul, well, I don't have to prove anything to you. The only person I have to prove anything to is her. And I could tell that, I'm going to call him Westside Paul, almost came out because that man looked at him, don't disrespect me. He said, don't you go down that road. Because you came to him looking for help for a relationship. You've been wishy-washy. You don't get to then attack the therapist. But pretty much Paul checked the hell out of them. And when they go for individual therapy, the experts ask about emotional manipulation because Tori mentions that she feels like he's emotionally manipulated her, which she has been emotionally manipulated because he says he wants to be with her, but then he also says, and for the first time in front of a bunch of people, that he misses sleeping with other hoes. So it's like, what are you doing? And he does plan a date and gifted her with their wedding photo, but I'd be looking at that photo if I was Tori. Like, he don't even listen to the experts. He tried to check the expert. Like, if you can't even listen to the expert, what make me think you gonna listen to me? But how did you feel about those two?
I don't feel anything about these two. I feel like she has the answer. I feel like she knows what it is, and I feel like she is also playing for the cameras. I feel that this man is not going to change. He is spoiled. He is entitled. All of these things. You have the answers. So I don't feel anything. To me, if she want to stick with this man and be in this relationship and in this marriage, that's on her. I can't stand when someone actually has the answer and tries to seek a different answer from the experience. The answer is not going to be different. He said exactly what he wanted to say. He said exactly how he felt. There's nothing going to change that. There's nothing going to be different with that. You said it out your own mouth and you exposed the tea that none of us knew until this episode. So I feel like, hey, there you have it. You
Well,
have it. So, oh well. And once again, I would be side eyeing the experts for thinking that a man this entitled and spoiled and this player that wants to, showcase that he is one but could be married. How dare y'all play in my face the same way y'all play in Nikki's face and in Devin's face? How dare y'all do this to me?
yeah, they did Tori dirty with this
Yes.
matchup. It's actually it's quite annoying. I feel like Tori would have done good with Devin because I feel
She
like
would
Devin
have,
would have been
yes.
walking that dog, especially because he has off time from rugby. So when he's off, I feel like because his love language is like showing up, acts of service, I feel like he would be doing those things that she needs. I don't know who did the matchmaking, but I'm
Terrence,
available and I have a degree.
I'm
Married at
available
first
and I
sight.
know what I'm doing.
Call
And
me.
I would have put, honestly, now that we saying it out loud, Felipe could have went with Caitlyn because this is what she want. She don't want a man that's there all the time.
This would have been a good little
That would have been a good thing.
swappy
Yes.
situation. I'm just like, I don't understand. Let this be proof, because both experts have been married for over 20 years, that just because people have found success in their own marriage doesn't mean that they can help other people find that same success. Sometimes we just find what works for us. AB says Tori is down with his bullshiggity. Tori isn't putting up with his crap. Oh, she's done with it, probably you meant. Tori isn't putting up with his crap, and I like that she moved the dog to make sure it was taken care of. Yeah, I'm not about to depend on some Negro I just met who's only proven that he misses his dick being in random hoes and that he can't wake up before 10 a.m. No, sir. Absolutely not. Paul was fired up because Felipe has been a joke the whole time.
Yep.
Like showing up late, disregarding their time, and now you're going to tell me you don't care about my opinion? That's hella rude. I think his mama made him that way. Again, they did have all the women. They did all the women dirty this year. They did. Well,
Not all
Courtney
of them.
and Caitlyn were done fine. They're just some ungrateful bitches, if we being honest. But the rest of the women, I do feel like were done dirty. Now, Nikki and Sean. I feel like every time I see them talk, I'm in a board meeting at work. Or in your job, it's like, hey, we're going to have our Christmas party. It's after hours. You can drink. It'll be fun, but it's still work. So you still have to, hi, Sue. You look wonderful. Did you have a great weekend? Like, you still got to be a little fake. That's what this gives when I see Nikki and Sean talking to each other. It gives, we're at the company holiday party and they just playing along to get along. I don't think it's because of personality. I feel like Nikki is doing the best she can with what she got, but they're on a date, wine and chocolate, two of her favorite things. Me too, girl. And they are discussing finances. They're both well off. They're like, I'm okay with putting more than necessary into a savings account and having different types of savings. When I tell you the exact way that Nikki and Sean discussed their savings is the exact way I do it with my husband, and me and him looked. We said, well, if these motherfuckers is wealthy, then maybe we gonna get there someday if we, because we got a regular savings account just for savings. We have an emergency fund, we have a travel fund, and we have a gaming fund, but we are gamers, don't judge us. But I love that they broke it down. I think that's realistic. Have your joint account, but also have your separate accounts, because financial independence is important, even when you're in a relationship. But they're on the same, path as it relates to stuff that we knew they'd get along with, which is finances and intellectual ability and things like that. But in group therapy, Sean mentions that he finds it odd that he's not had the opportunity to meet any of Nikki's friends or family yet, or her mother, to be specific. And Nikki says that she is now in a place where she's ready, but she wasn't. And this is Sean's problem. He's overbearing and doesn't wait for her to be ready. He's trying to force her to be ready. Like, I haven't met your mom. That's a problem. If you would have met this woman off of this show, you would not have met her mom probably for a year in. I think it's weird that he tries to force her to skip steps or to force her to do stuff when he feels like it's the time, instead of being patient and waiting. And he just does not see that. But Paul asks them, when the cameras go off, what is it like? And Sean says that Nikki and him can be physical. There's kissing and stuff, but he says that she seems shy. And he mentions that they've had physical touch. And Nikki says there's physical touch, but there's no butterflies. I don't know if y'all know that means you're not attracted to somebody. Every time my man touch me, I feel something, okay? Something. So I don't understand why she feels nothing. So they end up deciding and asking, the experts ask them, like, what is it that you guys want to do, and or what you need more of from each other? And Sean is like, I want us to take baths together, and I want us to go on. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is the first thing you say you want to take baths together? Like, stop, Sean. And the fact that this man has a relationship book is a fucking joke. You are single at this big age because of how you act with Nikki. And I don't know why Nikki's putting up with you, but if it wasn't for the fact that this was also someone who, in my opinion, seems a little desperate for marriage and finding that person, I don't think she would be dealing with him because he's just too forward. Like, everything's very specific. And I agreed with Cameron and most of the group when they said that she's just not attracted to him and you can't fake it. It's very obvious. And when they go on their wine date, things went by, they went well. They get back home and there's kissing and sexual intimacy. He let out a howl, which gave me the ick. Also, they're in an apartment complex, so I know his neighbors were probably like, what the fuck? But like, you finally got something and you howled. And then from what Nikki explained, it doesn't sound like they had sex. It just sounds like they fooled around, if y'all get what I'm trying to say. But you let that man touch your flower, Nikki? And I believe in people feeling pressured to have sex. I believe in people feeling pressured to be intimate when they're not ready, which is not okay. She was clearly not ready. She clearly still looks uncomfortable around him. But you let him touch your flower. How do you feel about these two?
I don't feel anything about these two. I feel like, once again, I hate someone that has to force themselves into something that they really don't want to be in, or they really have no desire to be in, or they really don't feel any compassion or physical, emplacement or fulfillment in doing this. I feel like I'm watching someone lower her standards just to fulfill this experience because she doesn't want to look like the bad guy in the situation. I don't like it. I think that it is very cruel. And once again, I don't want to see her just give him just a small inch. You either in this 100% or you not. At this point, once again, Courtney and Nick set the standard. Break up if it's not working. That's all you got to do. But to sit there and fake it and act like this is what y'all want to be in and this is what time y'all on, miss me.
It's annoying when, separate from the physical stuff, Nikki and Sean just struggle to get along. But they're both
Yes.
Leos. They are
Oh
both
wow.
Leos.
Oh.
Who the fuck decided to put two Leos together? They are bullheaded and stubborn. I would say next to Tauruses, Leos are probably one of the most stubborn signs.
Yes, they are, and that is a bad. I don't know who matched these two. That's even worse.
It's just no, I think they were so focused on the financial part of things that they weren't looking into more when realistically, I just can't with them.
Yeah.
Sean would give up all his money to have Nikki as his wife. I truly believe that. Now that is a positive, but the problem is the misogyny that's just ingrained in his mind. That's the problem. Do your wifely duties. I don't care if I'm pressuring her for sex. I'm going to keep trying. And then when I finally get it, I'm going to howl like a fucking wolf at the moon that's rabid. Like, there's a lot with him that shows he lacks experience, but there's a lot with him that shows that his idea of marriage is, I'm a man and this is what I can get from a woman. When really we're your partner in life, your helpmate, those types of things. But Sean is the example of growing up in the church and still learning the negative misogynistic parts of relationships. Like, no, absolutely not. We knew from the wedding when she asked, where's my husband, that she didn't want him.
Yep.
And we knew that he blew any shot he had when he made that 69 joke. Maybe that's what she gave him. Sean needs an Annabelle from 90 Day Fiance. Child. He'll listen with Annabelle. Sean will be in shape. He's eating well. Okay. He will be all right. That pissed me off that Nikki let him get that far. That disgusting pig coming out of the room with his pecker out to show off. That's what pissed me off, because it's like, you've been wrapped up in this robe this whole time, but now that you got something, you got your man part out. Nobody cares that you finally got some from this lady. We're upset. We're upset that you've been more focused on sex than getting to know Nikki. I said what I said because he's just now paying attention to her. But let's get to the group dinner. The therapy went well, but the dinner was messy and I was here for it. We're going to start with Marissa at the dinner explaining that she feels pressured because there's only 3 weeks left until decision day. And she does not feel like that is enough time to make a decision on if she wants to be with Adam or not. And Adam was kind of like, what? But, you know, Nikki caught some stuff and she asked Adam why he's so obsessed with sports and why it's so important to him to have a partner that wants to do that all the time. And Adam mentioned his ex again. Bitch, nigga, if you miss her, go back. Call her up. Okay? But why are you here if you miss your ex? Why did you break up if you had everything that you wanted? Like, you're not, this is what they mean by he's not going deeper. You say you missed this lady and she was perfect for you, but obviously there was something that caused y'all to break up. And I'm starting to think that something was you and your narcissism if you had everything in common. But it's very hard for a narcissist to admit that they're a narcissist. It's damn near impossible. That's a scientific fact, okay? Child, I'm choking. I've been choking all week from allergies. So please excuse me. But how did you feel about Adam and Marissa and what happened at the group dinner?
I'm on mute. Once again, y'all, I'm gonna be here with y'all about Marissa. Marissa is one of those people that I'm telling you, she is demonstrating exactly what her mother did until her mother got her a job and got the fuck home. I don't understand why you need other signs from Adam for you to realize that this man really don't care about you unless you're not acquiescing to him. And that is crazy to me that you're not seeing that, you're not getting that when you've had the example of with you all along, y'all. It bothers me when someone literally had a demonstration, literally voiced her concerns about her family's relationship, her mother and father's relationship, but you're literally in the exact same shit. Maybe it's a little different because he's well off. Totally get that. But at the same time, there's no respect, there's no consideration, there's no, logic, there's no, you know, basically a pacifying of your needs, not pacifying, there's no, considering of your needs. And the fact that he mentions someone he used to mess with, probably the same someone, because I don't remember, I didn't pay attention close to seeing that they were saying it was that same lady who he had a hard time breaking up with to get with her. I don't remember if that was that same lady, but I do know that he likes to recycle women when they don't do what he needs them to do. And Marissa, you need to pay attention to that. I get he's cute. I get he, is fun. I get that he's active. I get he has some of the boxes in your, category to check. But the problem is that for the things he checks, he fails in the other categories. He fails in the other things. And then he disrespects you by bringing up someone from his past as if that was something that the conversation should have went to. That's where I get frustrated with her because I'm like, what more do you need to see? I see why he's alone. I see why he has not been married until this experience. I see why. He's selfish. He is. He's extremely selfish. He's self-centered. Everything revolves around him. And that's probably why you ain't met his family yet, because they gonna show you what that is. So I'm over this. I'm over them too. Like, because to me, I can't keep feeling sorry for her. I just can't at this
My
point.
bad.
No, you good. No, I understand.
Child, y'all, I have asthma. I had a little mini asthma attack, but I'm cool. I found my inhaler. I thought it was allergies, but then I was like, oh shit, I can't breathe. Shout out to Mr. Best for getting me my inhaler and all of those good things. But I am back. I agreed with everything you said. I could hear you. I agreed with everything you said. It's hard to feel sorry for somebody who's choosing to deal with this amount of disrespect. If we look at Felipe and Tori, for example, he's someone who's not bringing up exes, but it's like, oh, I miss the single life, but he's not bringing up missing a specific person. It sounds like Adam misses this person. If you miss this person, call this person. And Sean called him out which nobody likes. Well, if you're a narcissist, you don't like when nobody calls you out. And that's exactly what happened. And, I did agree with everything that Sean said. He was like, maybe you're lacking emotional intelligence. And he started it off really rude. And this is why people trained in mental health, like, it's very easy to understand the psychology of things, but that's why there's a difference between a psychologist and a therapist, because the therapist is trained to communicate the psychology to you in a way that you can receive it. Sean is the example of someone not being trained in that at all, because you probably don't want to say, if I say to James, did your parents talk to you? Because, I see a little bit of lack of emotional intelligence. That comes off as condescending and passive aggressive. So you have to be careful in your approach. So I did agree with the experts in what they said as it relates to Sean meant well, but it's also what they say, pot calling the kettle
Pot
and
calling the
all of
kettle,
those
yes,
things.
absolutely. Pot calling the kettle black. Because to
Because Adam
me, we
was
can say the same thing
pissed.
about you, Sean. We can, but
Adam
somebody had
was
to say it.
Adam was upset at Sean saying what he said. And from that moment on, at this little group dinner, anytime Sean said or did anything, Adam was coming for him. He threw a fit, and I thought it was funny. You're throwing a fit, and your wife was just standing there while he's going off about Sean, not even looking at him, not even nodding. She's just like, and I'm like, Hot Mess Express, y'all. Hot Mess Express. Sean explains when they get to him and Nikki at this dinner that things have been better with him and Nikki. And he says that they've been moving in the direction that where if decision day were to happen, the potential for a yes is heightened. They say that things are much more romantic and they're making progress. We know that Adam is on 10 and he called this out. I think Adam was calling it out, one, because he has been very vocal about every couple the whole time. Two, because he is pissed off at the audacity of Sean to call him emotionally intelligent and ask if his parents talked to him. But he had points in what he said. He was like, he doesn't believe that what Sean is saying about him and Nikki is genuine and that they treat everything like a board meeting. Michelle chimed in and agreed. Cameron chimed in and agreed. Looks like everyone kind of feels the same because there was such disdain between Nikki and Sean that if we're being honest, I thought they'd be the first to leave. I thought they'd be the first to leave because Courtney and Nick didn't even get to have full arguments because she was so much more aggressive than him that he would just kind of, but Nikki and Sean, they was just coming at each other. And so I thought that they would be gone. I thought it was nice that the group called out the bullshit. I think it was more so towards Sean because Nikki has been the same Nikki.
Yep.
I like people like Nikki because you get the same her, you know what you're getting. She's not fake. She's not putting on because somebody else is in front of her. She's the same. Those are the people I trust and notice. Sean, he changes depending on if the wind direction changes. Okay. The man is everywhere. So I'm glad that the group said things. It does look odd. Nikki says there may be possible sparks. And then Mecca jumped in and was like, it doesn't seem like you're attracted to him. Look how far y'all sitting from each other. I mean, and that's kind of true. A couple that's in a good space, if I go somewhere and have a seat, unless there's like a separate chair, if you're with your spouse, they're usually going to sit close to you because that closeness just naturally happens. But I do agree that Nikki has been trying, but I worry that Nikki is compromising her own morals instead of beliefs for herself just because she's finding that she values marriage. And that's not good. Marriage should never cause you to compromise your own morals, beliefs, or ethics. That means you're not in the marriage for you. But how'd you feel about them at that group dinner?
I feel like they called out the right things, but I do feel like it was a dog pile on Sean and Nikki based on Adam. I do. I feel like it was kind of like, oh yeah, we're going to call it out because it does seem like y'all are at board meetings or in HR or whatever it is they were saying. And I feel like to me, yeah, that could be true, but at the same time, that does not negate the fact that all of y'all have issues. Every single last one of you. They're just putting their issue and being honest and forefront about what they're going to, unlike some of y'all. So as much as I agree with them, I also feel like y'all need to be looking at yourselves too. Hold the mirror in your direction as well, because y'all are not saints here. And then another thing is, Nikki, I wish you would stop playing. I wish you would stop playing. And, if she was a real one, like a real one. Like I do like Nikki. Don't get me wrong. I love Nikki. But the problem what I have with Nikki is you should have said from day one in your honeymoon suite, this ain't gonna work. I'm sorry, bro. Here this ring. Sorry for wasting your time. I will send my divorce papers. It is not going to work.
I agree.
I would have been on her side because they had
Speak
her
up
fucked
for
up.
yourself.
Yes.
It's okay to do it, Nikki. It's totally okay, girl. Hopefully she figures that out. But I'm just thoroughly grossed out by Sean. I think he did this show to promote his book, and no one's buying that book after watching this show, which is
Right.
the irony of it all.
Yeah,
Like,
because yeah, you definitely wasn't
nobody's
doing
buying this
yourself
doggone
no
book.
favors.
Shout out to Vibe X. I am reading one of Vibe X's books right now. So shout out to Vibe X. Shout out to all of our authors. There are quite a few YouTubers that I've met, James included, who are authors. So shout out to everybody giving us work that we can read. We're gonna move into Mecca, because when trying to call out Sean and Nikki about the attraction, Mecca made a comment and got his own ass into some hot water by trying to compare it to his lack of attraction for Belle Jolie. He basically says it's okay if you're not attracted to her like that. When I first met Belle, I saw she was attractive, but I wasn't that attracted to her. Why are you tearing this woman down? And she took it correctly. He's basically saying I'm pretty, but not pretty enough. That's literally what he's saying. Like, you look good, but you're not good enough. And I wish people would not do that, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Some people find me dog doo-doo ugly, okay? And then other people may think that I look better than Beyonce. It's in the eye of the beholder. So you can have your preferences and likes, but have those preferences and likes without tearing down other people's preferences and likes, or tearing down other people. My God. But I know we struggle in this country with respecting each other's preferences and likes. So there's also that. But I didn't like the comment that Mecca made. This lady's been very kind to you. She's been patient with you and your fingernail polish. And I don't understand why you're behaving like this. I don't think that Mecca is like this because of his childhood trauma. I just don't think he's that into Belle Jolie, but I think he fucks with her, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like he genuinely likes her. He could probably be a friend of hers. They might fool around from time to time, but I just don't think he likes her enough to be with her, like that romantic chemistry. And just because you stay with someone and try to force it, is if the sparks aren't there, they're not there. It's either going to work or it's not. But Belle Jolie is obviously worried, and she states that she feels disrespected. What are your thoughts on?
She has every right to. She
Yeah.
has every right to feel that way. She has every right to feel one blindsided, and then two, well, not necessarily blindsided because he did say that at another time in front of her. I think to me, she's not taking the context clues, and sometimes you got to pay attention to that when someone tells you things like that. Like, even if it's joking or even if it's sarcastic, sometimes there is truth in the middle of those words. Just like when you break down the words, there's a prefix, there's a root, and there's a suffix. Same thing to life applies. You have to break down what that actually is and listen to what's in the middle. Because depending on the prefix, the actual root could mean something completely different. And you'll miss it because you're too focused on what it started it. You guys got to decipher through that. Y'all can't just sit there and put what applies to you. The man said he didn't find you all that way attractive. And to me, you could take it in one of two ways. Either he's manipulating your mind to bring you back down, to humble you, like a lot of men like doing, or it's the truth. He really does not like you. But that's not for you to figure out. That's for you to address. And I feel like she definitely needed to address that.
I actually agree with that. That's a great way to use grammar to apply to life also. Just as a
Yes.
I enjoy grammar. There's that. Belle Jolie knows the writing is on the wall. I am still struggling to breathe. My God. And it's time to bounce.
You better
That
say it,
is the
baby.
truth. .org.net.com, as Tamar would say, because my goodness, she knows, but I think she's sweet. And I think she will struggle with letting go of this experience. I think Belle Jolie and Devin are the two most committed to this experience.
Yes.
I really think that, separate from their spouses. And I don't think they want this to not go in their favor. I'm sure they'll be okay. Belle Jolie just seems sweet, and I hope she's booking all the gigs and I hope people are streaming her music and supporting her. She's someone who has not irritated me at all this season. I think every other cast member has at one time or another. Now, who is next? Caitlyn admits to the group that she was pulling back on physical intimacy and affection since the honeymoon, which is pretty much most of the relationship. And she says that she's been trying to do more. Felipe made a comment to Caitlyn, and I was like, shut the fuck up, Felipe. And I think Devin said this at one point to him, which I was glad about. He said to Caitlyn that he would not stay married to anybody without having sex with them first. We know, Felipe. We know. Would you like to add anything to that statement?
No, because that was stupid.
Absolutely stupid, just like his funky ass mustache looking like Mario. He also says that Caitlyn is probably not ever going to give affection. Felipe, I'm just going to say this. Some women have chosen to become celibate. Some people have chosen to not have sex for religious reasons. Some people just don't want to have sex because they value their body and they don't want to share it with every fucking body. So not having sex first or someone waiting to have sex does not mean that it's never going to happen. They've known each other for like a month. And I just don't understand Felipe's train of thought. But Devin explains that he is okay and that if he was not getting his needs met, that he might be inclined to go look around, but that's not what's happening. And, you know, Caitlyn kind of took that in a not so positive way, but I think he's trying to make her appreciate him. It just came out wrong. I think he's trying to explain, like, listen, I'm not this way. I don't mind being patient, but for some people, they may not be able to be patient and they may stray. And honestly, just like the experts said, because people get really upset about, you know, the topic of cheating, but let's have the talk. It's a fact. If you're not giving your partner none, you're kind of in some ways giving them a way or a reason to cheat, even if they never thought about it. Does that make the cheating okay? No. But can you expect someone to just sit and get their needs completely ignored until you're fucking ready? That's also not fair. So it's something that Caitlyn probably doesn't want to hear, but it's true. It's true. And I do think Devin might cheat making that comment. I don't know why. If they do make it after the show, I feel like that'll be the thing to break him up. But I wouldn't be mad at him because she's been extremely difficult and she's lucky this man is still here. James, how did you feel about Caitlyn and Devin and all of that? Is there anything more?
No, the thing about it is that I feel like to me, she's withholding for another reason that I can't figure out. And until I can figure it out, I will speak on it because to me, her plight and her reason for withholding the very thing that he asked her for, the very thing that, you know, she agreed to in the beginning is very weird. It's
It
almost like
is.
you're breadcrumbing this man into, you know, making him feel like he does have you completely, but he really doesn't. And I think that that is a dangerous thing to do to somebody that you're married to,
Preach.
regardless of how long the marriage has been.
Preach. Preach. I actually agree with that. You can breadcrumb even while you're with somebody. You absolutely can. You absolutely can. And that's why I think some people should go to counseling. You could learn a lot. Doesn't mean you have to break up. Um, so Felipe then says that he has wanted Tori since the day he met her. And he says that he is committed to Tori and has been committed to Tori since the day he met her. And the entire group gasped and laughed because you have been crying about missing sleeping with other hoes. And now you say that this is the only person that you have wanted, but you were just crying about wanting other people. Fuck is you talking about? Like, I don't understand Felipe. Felipe really crashed out. And I still think Felipe is likable. I just think Felipe is a big ass party mama's boy. That's what he gives. And to a woman that's independent, I don't care if it's a bitch that work at McDonald's and got her a 1-bedroom apartment in the hood or a social worker like myself that's, you know, paid enough to survive in a place like the Bay Area. Okay. Don't no woman want no man that behaves like a big ass child. Okay. And Felipe just he reminds me of my ex-boyfriend when I was in the 10th grade. Shout out to Lorenzo. I'm still cool with him. But he reminds me of like the boys I dated in the 10th grade. Reminds me of like James and Tara, if you know, you know. Reminds me of all sorts of things from high school. Okay. Felipe reminds me of my husband before I met him. I'm sorry to the women of Oakland that experienced that. But he's a kid. That's all I got. That's all I got. He's a fucking joke. So everybody calls him out on, you know, being a joke to a certain extent. Adam questioned what's going on and said, "You're clearly struggling, dude." And Adam's like vibes and chilling and just looking to lay low. But even Adam was like, "What the hell is this?" Cameron asked what Felipe really wanted. He kept saying Tori. And Tori finally let him know she's not okay with any of it. She said verbatim, she's done with the indecisiveness. She's sick of the wishy-washiness. And she looked at him and told him that it's not attractive. And he acted like he get it because Felipe's a yes man. He's going to say whatever the fuck he can to get out that conversation. But I don't think he received any of what was said. And Cameron decides to stand up and say, you know what? As a matter of fact, the whole side of this table is a joke and need to break up. Cameron, while I think you have your issues also, because you also be crying about if this is what you really want and things like that, and if it's real, thank you for finally saying that, because that whole side of the table has been very vocal. They've been very disingenuous. A lot of them have lived in Deluluville, and I'm glad somebody said it. Next week is a couples retreat. But James, how did you feel about how the episode ended? Tori speaking out. What's to come with the couples retreat, which I think would be a hot fucking mess.
Tori shouldn't have spoke out. She should have walked out. Personally, she should have. She shouldn't have. She should have just walked out. I appreciate Cameron for saying what it is, but I agree with you. I feel like wrong person, right message. And that's pretty much it. I felt like, to me, the only thing Tori should do in that moment was walk out. Because I would have. I would have got my shit and I would have left. Because I'm not going to sit at a table and have you just completely just disregard. And then by the second sentence out of your mouth, you're disrespecting me. Because you know I'm not what you want. And the problem is that you know you can't give her what she needs. And instead of you just saying that and saying you're intimidated by this woman because she really don't need your fucking ass, you're just sitting up here trying to act like I can belittle her by bringing in her face the women I want to sleep with. And then when I get called out on it, I act like a petulant child. And then I sit in the corner and say, no, I love her and want to be with her. And I feel like she's so beautiful and I deserve her. You don't know what the fuck you want. And that's the problem.
I agree. The couples retreat looks like a time. What is are these going to be the last 3 episodes? The next one, or are
Yep.
we going to get more weeks?
Nope. We're getting 2 episodes of the couples retreat and then we're getting the decision day. And I think after that, we get a reunion.
Yes, yes. Okay, I forgot the schedule. Alicia TV, hey girl, hey girl, hey. Check out Life with Alicia TV. She does a lot of vlogging. I actually enjoy it. I have been watching Miss Alicia. So tap in, tap in, tap in. And yes, he is childish. He's childish. Felipe is a liar and was using Paul's words. What a joke. And Tori said that his mama still buys his underwear and socks for him.
Okay. I'm signing out. Good night, everybody.
That's crazy.
That's
My
crazy
husband
as
don't
hell.
even let me buy his drawers.
The
Hey,
hell?
Lord. Now, I appreciate everybody for watching these reviews. I agree, AB. Shit's about to go down. It's going to explode. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I want to be entertained. I want to be entertained. That's all I care about. Y'all, next week I do have some scheduling updates. James said I'm out of here.
No, I'm done.
I have some channel updates, you guys. Next week on Saturday is my wedding anniversary. I've been married. I've been married for 14 years. So I'm gonna have a wedding anniversary next week. I am going out of town. I'm going to be going to Yosemite with my husband and our pet. There is no cell phone reception in that area. For those who know, you know. I will have some videos out, but most of them will be pre-records. So you'll probably get those pre-records. You'll get some of them on Friday, and then the rest of the videos, which would be Put a ring on it. I have so many shows and my brain is blanking. Put a ring on it. I think it's just Put a Ring on It, maybe. Put a Ring on It will be on Sunday. And then Married at First Sight, I'm going to do it early on Friday. I'm going to pre-record it probably during the day. And then I'll have that review up. I will have Wi-Fi, so I will be in the comments. I think that's all. James is out of town also, so I don't know if
Yes.
he's going to do RHOA on Monday.
No, but
Okay.
yeah, sorry, y'all. But I will be back on my channel soon.
Okie
And
dokie.
but I see you guys. Have a happy Friday and enjoy the rest of your weekend, y'all.
Thank you. Alicia said, OMG, my birthday is next Friday. Happy birthday to you. I love that you celebrate for the whole month too. Y'all go to her channel, wish her a happy birthday. She is also the person who runs Black Girls Den podcast. So tap in, tap in, tap in. Support all of the fabulous Black creators. And thank you, AB. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, everything will be out. I think it's just one video that'll be late. Anything else will be on time. It just may not be live. But love and light to everybody. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. And I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your evenings. Au revoir and TGIF. Shout out to my moderators, and I'll see y'all next time.